Hey, y'all. I'm going to start this podcast for Justin since he can't seem to get it started.
We are family.
I got my son with me.
I got my only mother with me. Because we always start with a theme song, some random
Oh,
song. So I
okay.
was trying to think of what song it would be, and I couldn't.
I guess that would be a good one.
I couldn't
But
think of
we are
one.
family. You probably could have just did, Mama,
That's not Mother's
I
Day,
love you. But you still could have just started with that.
but they only did that for Mother's Day.
It's our day, no matter what.
Welcome to the Create as Well podcast. My name is Justin, and I'm your host. For those who don't know, the Create as Well is a platform for Christian creatives, entrepreneurs, visionaries, and purpose seekers to be refreshed, renewed, and revitalized for their God-given purposes and callings. And today, actually throughout this entire month, unlike the rest of the world and our person we call a president, I honor DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So here at the Create as Well, we are celebrating Women's History and Empowerment Month. And I wanted to kick it off with none other than the woman who made me and the woman who I love first. Well, right now, the only woman I love because I don't have anybody. But that's okay.
And that's his choice. It's by his own choice.
My mother, you all know her as Miss Bessie, Miss Reeves, Nurse Bessie. She was a deacon. I think she's still a deacon. But
we don't need to talk about that right now.
she's saying on praise teams. She's done it all. So we're going to talk about here in the podcast. We're going to talk about like creative resources and just things. And to be honest, not just for this show, my mom is the first example of creativity I've ever had. Like I was introduced to the concept of creativity through my mom. So for those who don't know, probably about the time where I was more cognizant of things was when we lived in Roanoke, and you were my Sunday school teacher. My mom she always moved up. Whatever Sunday school class I was in, somehow she became one of the teachers as well. But she was one of the Sunday school teachers. But what set her apart, all of them were honestly great, but what set her apart was how she brought the stories to life. And I remember several of the lessons, and there was just like some of the other teachers, they taught, and there was nothing wrong with that. But the way that my mom did it, or whether you did it, because you're sitting right here, you did it by bringing things to life. So one of the most famous ones that I always remember, and you might know which one I'm going to go with, is where Paul was talking about milk and meat Christians.
I know he was getting ready to go there.
So you want to explain that one for the people?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to explain it the way that it's in his mind. Y'all know this is the creative mind. But I was just trying to teach the children that, you can't be out here being all weak minded and out here trying to say that you know the word, but yet you want to feast on candy and all this other good stuff. Whereas I had to break it down where you either were on milk or meat. And the meat, of course, as we know, is the word of God. And the milk is the new Christian, the new baby. I mean, it's a start form. If you start thinking about life in itself, where do we start babies? We start them on either mom's milk, breast milk, or you start them on milk. I can say that Justin really was never on milk. He was on protein milk, which he could not take milk. But anyway, I digress.
I've always been advanced.
Yes, he has been. So that was the purpose, was to break it down to them so that they can not only just know the word, but walk in the word and understand what the difference was between the milk Christian and the meat Christian. So throughout that whole series, if I remember correctly, again, we just broke it all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
We broke it all the way down. So which one would you prefer to be?
And she started it off by giving us a choice between, it was either ham or turkey, some sort of deli meat, and then it was actual milk. And I remember it was no choice for me, not on some spiritual matter, but because I didn't like milk. I was like, I don't want that. And I just remember, like, I still remember that to this day, because people were like, well, I want the meat and I want the milk. Or people were like, I don't know which one to decide. And I don't think he would care. Remember Jordan at the time.
Just thinking Jordan. I was just thinking about
Jordan. If you ever see this, or Kayla, if you ever see this, I remember Jordan picking the milk, and then he was so upset when he found out like how the lesson was unfolding. He's like, I want to go back and switch my answer. So just remembering things like that, it's like, it just shows me that one, creativity really does help bring concepts to life, especially the Word of God, but like anything that we do, which is why creatives are so important. But to me, when I think about things now and the events that I do, I remember a lot of your lessons, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, instead of just teaching it plainly, how else could I demonstrate stuff? So that's why we have the songs that we write for some of the events, or the reflection things, or um, different things, all these other ideas in my mind. Another one you had, she taught us this song. I still don't know. Was it Janet Jackson? Ring my bell. Who's the writer of the song? You know, we
I
were too
don't
young for that
know
song.
who sang that song. Who actually sings?
Well, it
You can
started with,
ring my bell. You can ring. I don't remember.
and
I
that was
don't
about
remember.
making noise for Christ. And then there was another one that you sang, "What have you done for me lately?" And it was about what have you done for God lately. So just like remembering these things to this day, a lot of people say like, Justin, you know so much word, but the majority of the word I learned and still know is from Roanoke at that church, because she didn't just teach like Noah's Ark, and like we never really did that stuff. The other teachers did that stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But we were reading Corinthians and Galatians and stuff like as a kid. And now I'm like, oh, I remember that. So I want to give you your props and your flowers for being the first creative I know and just being very impactful. And I would imagine that some of the other students, Kayla, Jordan, man, I might tag y'all. uh, Blanking on it, Tiana, anybody else that was there
Hmm.
might remember that. But even and before that, you've always been creative because you brought everything to life. So I'm a guilt her a little bit now. It's not gonna work. But
Uh-oh.
you used to make cakes, my favorite characters, and now she just wants to give me a plainly decorated cake, and I don't understand why she thinks that that's okay. But she would. I was obsessed with Scooby Doo for a while, and she actually drew out a Scooby Doo on the cake, and she always said she couldn't draw,
I can't.
but yet, and I wish I had the pictures still. Well, I guess my dad does downstairs, but we are at their house, their mansion. I wasn't allowed to live here.
Oh
Uh,
Lord.
but you did a Scooby Doo cake, you did a Dragon Ball Z cake, you did.
I did.
Um,
And didn't even like any of those shows.
no, she didn't like any of the cartoons. I think you did a SpongeBob cake,
I think I
and I
did.
know you didn't like that one because I know you didn't
Mm-mm.
like SpongeBob. You didn't
No.
even like me watching SpongeBob.
Mm-mm.
But so with all of that, between that, she would make quilts. I need to find the pictures of all this stuff. I have the quilt at home. But like quilts, and then this one, I was obsessed with buses for the longest time. All I wanted to do was ride school buses, and so she
Mm.
sewed, or was it knitted? What did you do for that? Sewing, I guess,
I
right?
think it was someone. Yeah.
She sewed this bus that had my high school graduation year on it.
That was cross stitching. Yeah. In
Sure.
the frame. Yeah, it was.
So my question for you is, where did all this come from? Because you just be doing
I
stuff.
I don't know. All the thing I can think is that I don't know that people know that I come from a poor family. And I mean, we were rich in the word. We were. My mom gave us everything that we needed. I mean, we definitely was not the family that got what you wanted because it was nine of us. I'm the youngest of nine. So I think back then I just had to be creative in the things I wanted and see if I can convince her that it was something I needed. So I think that's probably where it probably came from, or just the mere fact of just figuring out for myself how to make it come to life for me. So yeah,
Did you ever feel that you couldn't do something? Because I feel like you would just like sew stuff, you would cook stuff, you would just.
no, I don't. I mean, I know there are things I can't do,
Hmm.
but I'm never gonna say I'm not gonna attempt to try it.
Hmm.
I mean, those cakes he talked about, they may have not turned out the exact way I wanted them, but hey, he was my child. He was gonna be happy with
And
no matter what I
they
did.
look great. They honestly did. I need to find those pictures. Um,
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't even know
but
where I
now she
want to.
doesn't want to do those anymore.
Yeah,
Therein
no,
lies the issue. I think the
no,
last one was at 27. It was the
and I
watch. You
think.
made the watch. The last decorated one was
Oh,
the
yeah, I
watch.
guess I did do a watch. But like I say, and I've said it already. You have to grow into the things. You have to grow out of things. You have to grow into things. So once you hit a level, and you don't need cakes like that anymore. We can just write happy birthday and be happy.
I don't know. She's making dog bandanas for a period of time as well.
Hey, that come from my mom again. Hey, I know how to go out here and hustle.
So with so because the other thing that I want to touch on here is that you've just done a lot of things in my life. The most consistent thing you've been is a nurse, but on top of that, you've been Sunday school teacher. You've done like I said, you're just making dog bandanas for a season. She was making wreaths for a season, like just doing some of everything.
I still can make the reefs if y'all need one.
In there, and she makes Easter or like spring wreaths for every season. So literally, there's just reefs everywhere. So I don't just like I said, I just don't know. But like, do you feel inspired by stuff? Like, how do you just start? Because you just started making not just now, but like you just one day, I feel like I came over and you were like, I'm making reefs, and then one day you're like, I'm making dog bandanas. So like, what inspires you to just do something random?
I think the inspiration comes through a challenge, and you just start you looking at stuff, and then you say, I could do that. I mean, somebody make a reef and it's like barely covered up, barely has any flowers on it, and you're looking at it like, I could do this. So truthfully, I mean, that's what I did. I just was like, I don't take classes. I tried to take a decorate cake decorating class. That didn't go so well.
I don't know why you don't decorate cakes anymore.
Well, that was back then. I was trying to learn how to do flowers. He didn't want flowers, so that didn't work. But anyway, it's usually something that I see, and then I challenge myself to do it.
Hmm.
And yeah,
So, what would the next challenge in life be if you had to pick one?
my challenge right now is to get through this nursing. Yeah, I've been a nurse for 38 years. It's time to hang this up, y'all. I have what 3 more years to go, and like I tell Justin, and I told him this all his life, I don't work on my days off.
No,
So when I retire from school, I won't be working on my days off.
and she doesn't do it now. We could be out somewhere,
Yeah,
and she
no,
could be like, "Ooh, I hope they're okay because I don't work on my day.
no,
I don't work
don't do
on my
that.
day off."
Yeah, but I think the next challenge is I am getting up there and ready to retire. So the next thing is to just start. I don't know. I'm doing real estate, y'all. So I guess that's the next
Well, that was
thing.
supposed to be my thing to lead you into
Oh
that,
well, I'm
but
sorry.
so
I'm
since she
sorry.
is segue, she's leading us where we're gonna go in anyway. It was what 5 years now, 5 years that you started working in
No,
real estate, but not that you licensed.
no. Okay, so I've been working with my BFF, Katie Triori.
We'll have
I
her
worked with
one of these
her.
days, but she's always busy. I
Yeah,
need to get her one of these days.
I worked with her probably for about 10 years as the transaction coordinator. So I was, the paperwork person. And I was totally happy with it. Totally happy with it until there goes another challenge that she says, you just need to get your license. And I'm like, no, I'm good with this. She was like, no, you need to get your license. So I was like, okay, let me think about this because when I retire, I need to sell a few houses because I need to travel. That's all it is. And so then I was like, okay, let me do this. So I started out, I got my Virginia license. So then, I thought I was doing good with my Virginia license and, we're going to capture the world. She has her Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So I was like, Virginia's good for me. So then, no, she couldn't let me stop there. So then I had to go out here yet again and do Maryland. But I am stopping. I'm not doing DC. I
Why?
will. No, DC has too many laws, too many. I don't even want to drive to DC. I mean, whenever we get a client in DC, yeah, I'll be there with her. But I mean, I'll go back and do the paperwork, but
Have
I'm
you
not
guys
going.
done any DC? I know you have done Maryland and Virginia, but have
Yeah,
you done any
we
DC?
actually did a DC a couple of years ago. Yeah, we did a condo. Nice, very nice. Hey, hit me up. What y'all want to do?
So I remember when you were studying for, I guess, the original real estate license, it was the math, and you were upset, and you were just like, I don't want to. Just you were frustrated. So like, what helped you to persevere? Because a lot of creatives, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of visionaries will hit a hurdle, whatever the hurdle is, and stop or pause or try to find another way around it. But you don't ever really back down from stuff. So like
Nah.
that's not really your personality. So like what tips could you give for people to persevere and keep going, or
So
how to do it?
I'm sitting up here thinking about that math. And when he's talking about the math, he's talking about all of that. Now I can do the percentage, no problem. I can tell you what the square footage is and this, and that, and how much this is, how much that is. But for some odd reason, when I was studying it, I could not visualize it. And I remember going over to Justin's house and I was like, okay, you're going to have to show me how to work through this. And he showed me, because his math is his thing. So he showed me, and I'm a visual person. So once he showed me, then I had to just really sit down and figure out, well, how do I internalize this and how does it make sense to me? And I think that being creative in that way, again, with everything I did, how does it make sense to me? Because go back to those cakes. For real, I can't draw. I really can't. And so this is me with a toothpick on the cake trying to draw out an outline, looking at the paper, saying, okay, what does this look like? But then when you have an idea in your mind, then when you put it to paper, then it becomes your idea. So I
Mhm.
think the what I'm trying to say here is that when it's your idea, you can run with it versus trying to follow somebody else's lead all the time. Now there are always, you're going to be a leader sometimes, you're going to be a follower sometimes, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Because believe me, when it's come to this real estate, my partner and I, sometimes she's the lead, sometimes I'm the lead. So you have to do that when it is, and you have to be able to look at somebody else's vision. But Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain. So you have to know what your vision is. You have to be able to run with your vision, because all the time people won't tell you all of their vision. They'll tell you enough to get you to trot. But when it get time for you to run, you're like, well, wait a minute, how are they running faster than me?
Mhm.
Because it was their vision. They ran it and they can continue to do it. So that's why I think it is. You just have to know what you're doing, what you want to do. And it doesn't always work out the way you wanted to. Improvising, you know, turning corners, reworking it. And a lot of times that's what it takes.
Mhm. She also claims she couldn't ever draw a straight line or a circle, but there were a lot of circles and straight lines on those cakes. So, and any
Mm-mm.
of the things that we did.
Look, I'm gonna give y'all a tidbit. I don't know if y'all know this about me. If you ever known about pigeon toes, that's how my toes go. So if you look at this, you already know you can't walk in a straight line with your feet going this way. So
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
I remember in college, and Tony will laugh because he used to tell me back in the day when we really pledged. I was number one.
That was unnecessary shade.
That was not shade, because I went through it. I was number one. And because that's how my feet went, he said, we did this. This is how we walked in the line. So, I mean, I never was behind me, so I can't say that. But hey, I can't walk in a straight line. I sure can't draw a straight line. But I do what I can do. I improvise.
So, what would you say if someone booked you today to speak? What would you speak about? What would be your subject matter expertise? Because I'm interested in this too.
Shoes. I don't know. Because yes, I do know. Yes, I do know. It would not be a one area.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, how do you see yourself? How do you want to be yourself? How do you want to grow yourself? I mean, I look at all of the facets of Bessie. Bessie, when I was young, how I mature, how I got older, how I went to college, how many of days I was like, Lord Jesus, why am I here? But I got through. I became a nurse. I became the only one in my family to go to college. So that's what I would say to you if I had to do a talk right now today. It would be, how do you see you and how do you know you? Because that's the thing I've learned as I've gotten older. I've learned who I am. And so when you start talking about challenges, that's why people can't tell me what I can't do. That's why, because I know me. And
Mm-hmm.
if I fall, and I don't really like the word fail, but if I fall, I know that I will restructure, I will get up and try it again. So I don't ever see myself as a failure. I always see myself as, oh, let me do this a different way because I'm determined and I'm going to do it. So I think that's what I would talk. Who are you and where are you going? How do you get there? What struggles? What keeps you from it? What keeps you from starting?
That's really good because I deal with clients with that all the time. That they're and these great ideas, and they even have the funding. Now that's what gets me
Oh,
because the only thing that stops me in life is money. Money is the only thing that
mm,
stops me from doing any of my events. Because otherwise, y'all would have an event every month if I had my way. But we, like I tell everybody, the JR Group is still grossly in debt to Justin Reeves. So that is our angel investor, and hopefully he continues to support us. But we're running out. So have you felt discouraged? Like, were you discouraged early in life by people, like out of their fear? Like, did you ever deal with people like projecting fear upon you and discouragement?
most definitely. I come from Arkansas, as you know. But those of you that don't know, Arkansas is an oppressed state. I I guess was supposed to been oppressed, but I was one of these black kids that was in the classroom, two blacks of all of what 20, 30 more
Mm-hmm.
white people. So I probably was supposed to be oppressed, but again, I didn't know I was supposed to be. So again, it was a challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I rose to the top. And yeah, mm-mm. Yeah, but I think really, and to think about my family, they didn't do a lot of encouragement, but they didn't do a whole lot of don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was it. So because I didn't have it in my family, my mama told me I could do whatever I wanted to do. Even though I didn't have the money to do the majority of what I wanted to do. But she did say, you can do whatever you want to do. I have a sister right now that will, right now, today, say that one will do anything. She'll do it. If she says she's going to do it, she's going to do it. I'm
That's the
trying.
oldest one.
That's Leanna.
Oh, so yes.
Yeah, that's Leanna.
If we could ever get her on the podcast, y'all, that would we would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Everything she cooks is good.
Oh, yes. It was good. It was good. But yeah, I think even like today, she would be the one to continue to encourage me to keep doing. And then we'll ask, well, what you gonna do next?
And if you ever see on my Facebook post, if you see Lee Ellis, that's my aunt Leanna. That
Yes.
will always she always is encouraging me because she
Hmm.
encourages the mother. What's the thing you are most proud of in life?
Yeah, this one sitting right here beside me.
Oh, well, other than that, that's boring.
That is not
That's a
boring. That is
cliche
not. That's
answer
not a
for a mother.
cliche. It is not.
That's
It
just,
is not. I am very proud of Justin. It's not a cliche. This is just honesty. Very proud of Justin. And have always thanked God for the man that he would be. And now I'm thankful because I'm being able to see it. Now, if he doesn't want me to go with that answer, I'm
I'll
go
do
with the other answer. What am I most proud of? That God has kept me. Now, you would think that that's a cliche, but those of you that
No,
don't know,
I'm getting older. I know that's not a cliche now.
those of you that don't know, I wasn't supposed to be here today. As a child, I'm just telling y'all all my little history. Um, Again, didn't have everything I wanted, but I had what I needed. I didn't have a crib when I was growing up. I had a drawer. So yeah, this one right here slept in a drawer. And a cat came in. We had one cat, and back in the day, I'm gonna have to
Y'all
just.
had a cat?
You didn't know this story?
No, this is news to
Oh my
me.
God, we had a
I
cat.
knew about the dresser. I mean the drawer.
No, we had a cat. We had a cat because back in the day we had mice. So the
Oh.
cat was supposed to eat the mice. But everybody know the story. Cats like milk. So they had put me down to go to sleep. And I had just finished my milk. And the cat came and was over my face.
Oh.
So that cat was trying to take me out before I even made it through the winter.
My
And
gosh.
I hate to tell y'all the cat didn't make it. My
Grandma killed
mom,
it.
my mom got upset. She threw the cat outside. It was in the winter. I was born in December, so it was cold back then. These are the stories I have heard. Of course, I can't tell you from memory, but she threw the cat outside. It was midwinter and it was cold. And the cat tried to come back in the house because the cat knew his place was in the house. Well, the cat got stuck between the screen door and the front door,
Oh.
trying to get back in, and the cat froze to death.
What was the cat's name?
I don't know. They never told me the cat's name. They never told me that. So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I wasn't supposed to be here. The devil thought he had me.
That is something. No, I've never
I
heard.
thought you knew that. Leanna did not tell you that story.
She would always tell me about the dresser.
Oh, yeah, I slept in the
Because that's what
dresser.
she would always tell. So my aunt always tells me, and I talked to her 2-3 weeks ago. She brought up again how my basement was dirty. She said you got to keep your room clean. She said because she said, and then every time she was talking about keep your house clean, keep your room clean, because you don't want rats, you don't want
I
mice.
see that.
And then she was saying, your mama lived in a drawer, so you got to keep your stuff together so you don't have to live in a drawer.
Oh, Lord
Like,
Jesus.
that's all I knew.
That's my
So,
sister. Yeah, yeah. I lived in that drawer and that cat died from it.
so what lasting advice would you give to someone?
In today's
Oh wait,
challenging.
let's do it a different way. Someone who feels stuck, how would you help them get unstuck? Like they just feel like they're at point 5 out of 10 and they just feel like they can't move farther.
You know, I don't ever think that anybody is stuck. I always know that if you're in a position or a place right now, just think about a dial. Even when something seemingly is stuck, if you work with it enough, it turns. You can adjust, you can loosen it, or the next thing you know, then you can change the position of it.
Mm-hmm.
So my mindset has always been I may be in a state right now, but I'm not stuck. So I think that's more or less what it is. I never think there's nothing I can't do. I think there are things I won't do.
What's something you won't do?
I'm not going to jump out of a plane.
At this point, you might have to. You
Nah.
just don't know what's happening with these
Well,
planes these days.
when that happened, I will do it. But that's not something no, it's not something I want to do.
So what's
I
the
think I
most?
would be stuck then.
What,
Stuck like, I can't go.
what's the most like daredevil thing you would do?
I think a lot of things I've already done were daredevilish, as my sister said again when I bought my motorcycle.
Oh yes,
She
yes.
said, I can't believe she did that, but she kept telling us. And this is the thing about me. I tell y'all what I'm going to do.
That's very true.
I tell you when I'm going to go out and purchase a new car. I tell you when I'm going to change my hairstyle. I tell you when I'm going to go out here and do something different.
It's never a surprise. If she says it once, you can kind of ignore it. But about that third time, you just are waiting for it to happen at that point.
Yeah.
Because she said, we're going to go get a new car. And I think I was on the phone with Clay or someone like that. And they're like, she's going to get it? So yeah, she'll come back with something. I don't know what it's going to be, but she'll come back with something. Or she said she's going to get a tattoo. She said she's going to get a nose pierce. She was bored in my mind.
I was not bored.
Just turned 60 and just got bored. So I need to spice up my life.
I keep trying to tell him I went into my Indian heritage.
Native American. Let's be politically
Native
correct.
American. Politically correct.
Apparently, we have Native American in us. Well,
Yeah,
not
yeah, we
apparently.
do.
I just never met because it was
I
your
don't
grandmother.
know why. My grandmother, yeah. My
I
grandmother
never met
was
her.
Cherokee.
That's the only
Beautiful.
say.
Mean, but beautiful. Mean? Oh my gosh, it was mean.
So now that you got real estate, what would you do next? I think we asked that already. You said you didn't.
Travel.
So where do you? Yes, this thing loves to travel. So
did he just call me a thing?
Yes, when it comes to that.
Oh my god.
We've been trying to figure this stuff out. Where do you want to go next?
Okay, so I said I was going to sit down just one day and write out this travel bucket list. I have not gotten to that yet. I think I just come up with something and I make that be the bucket list for right now. because my desire in life is never to get to the point where I have to say woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I think the light just went off. That's the thing. Why write down a bucket list and then be upset later on because you didn't get to it? Holy Spirit still works.
Yes.
Hmm.
If only you would still teach Sunday school.
Hey, it's time for somebody else to do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where I want to go. Well, I am going to go to Italy and Greece. That's the next trip. And past that, I don't know where we're going next.
So what's been the best place you've been?
Oh, shucks now. I think I've exhausted the Caribbean. But, I'm about to go back in March, so maybe I haven't exhausted it all the way.
Well, that's the lower Caribbean. That's different. You're
Yeah.
going to a different.
I think when you start talking about now to think about a place I really do want to go is Asia, Indonesia, somewhere over there. I really do. I think that's my next
I would
trip.
like to go on that one just to watch.
I think that's it. That's it. But I think the very best place, y'all, I know what he waiting for me to say, and I'm just gonna have to go on and say it. I can go to Jamaica every other week.
I actually didn't think that's what you were gonna say. What's your best? I thought you were gonna say Hawaii. I know you love Jamaica, but
Hawaii was good, but
Hawaii is probably the most beautiful place I've ever been. It's just peaceful and calm.
It was.
And the water is blue, and the food was great, and the fruit was great. Jamaica,
but Jamaica is just that one where you just go and lay down and relax. And I don't do that very often. When I go on vacation, I want to be tired when I come back. I want to be tired, and I want to be coming back to say I did vacation. I don't want to go rest all the time.
No, we are very active on a vacation. We went to, I guess the last vacation
we all went together was Europe.
Mm-hmm. We didn't do anything last year. I went to Hawaii last year.
You went to Hawaii, yeah.
But yeah, we went to Europe, and we went to Paris, which was terrible.
Yeah. No. But I mean, I saw what I wanted to see.
You did. You saw the Eiffel Tower.
I was happy with that. After that,
I would go to the south of France. I would try Nice or Versailles, because we were an hour from Versailles.
Yeah, okay.
And then they said we were about 2 hours from the south of France. I would try that. Paris will never see me again unless someone pays me to come to Paris. If you want to pay me to come to Paris to speak, I will love the Parisians. But other than that,
and when you pay him, I'm gonna be sightseeing. I think England, London.
I would definitely go to London.
But
I don't want to spend a lot of time there because the food is bad.
Well,
unless you go have black people food there.
I ain't worried about no food. I try to tell this child don't be basing everything on food.
It's about experience.
It is about experience. And we do go out and try to be with the locals when we go on vacation. So yeah, but yeah.
I just don't want to have a tomato for breakfast and baked beans.
No, I wasn't about that life, y'all. I wasn't about that life.
So that's England.
But
so we went to Paris. We went to Barcelona, which had a lot of hills. But it was nice. Good. The castle was really. I think that was my favorite part of Barcelona. But the food, that dinner we had there was really good.
The
hole
seafood.
In the wall.
The hole in the wall?
The seafood was in Mallorca.
Oh, okay.
That was really great. Now that we had seafood by the water, Mediterranean, and then Madrid. But Madrid was really great. I enjoyed Spain.
Yeah, I did enjoy Spain. I did, although the flight, we almost got kicked off the plane.
When?
In Spain.
Why?
Oh, you don't remember?
Where was I?
You had already gone through.
There's so many things I don't know. What do you mean you almost got kicked off the plane?
Me and my BFF almost got kicked off the plane. Oh, that was...
What did y'all do?
We didn't do anything. They don't like Americans. So they were trying... I don't even really remember. We almost got kicked off. That's all I could have tell y'all.
Well, I will tell you our experience in France, in Paris. That was terrible. It's funny now looking back at it, but
it was not funny then.
The hallways are about this big, the elevator is about this big, the shower is about this big,
and the water was brown.
And the water was brown and cold.
And cold.
Now,
and they thought instead of complaining, we should be out enjoying.
Yes.
But how was I supposed to come
Because
back
that was our
and
first stop. We landed Paris was the first stop, so we landed in Paris, and then we went into the hotel like anybody else would do. We went to go get checked in, and we maneuvered through the little hallway. That was fine. The little elevator just took time. Little stairways. It was a new experience. It was Europe,
hmm
but to get in the room and there was no air,
no air?
and it was France is hot. If you don't know, France is the same latitude as parts of Virginia. So the weather you feel if you're watching this from Virginia or no Virginia summer weather, it's hot, it's humid. So France is the same, honestly. And it was just couldn't take a shower. That was the only day in my life I can remember I didn't shower for 2 days because we got on the plane.
Ooh,
We got on the
Lord.
plane and we came to France. So that was overnight.
hmm
So I didn't have a shower, and then we stayed in that hotel for one more night. I
And we
just
had to
felt
get out
funky.
of there. But that, other than that, yeah. Well, no, you must be forgetting how we we were getting ready to go and tour downtown, Paris, and we ordered an Uber.
We didn't order. I ordered the Uber,
Well, Justin ordered us an Uber,
and they
and they
they
came
canceled
by
it because we
us
were black.
3 times
Woo!
and canceled. They came right up there, saw us standing, and
They said
canceled.
nope, nope. I said, oh,
And I
I
just
said Black Americans.
see again. I believe in treating people fairly, and I just could. That was bothering me.
It
Why
was
would they
bothering
just
her,
do this?
but we kept telling her the people in France are not nice, especially to
Mm,
black people in America. If we were Black American, this was bad. If we were
yeah.
African, we would have fared better because they're
Wow.
used to They still don't like them, but they're more used to Africans because they just come up from North Africa. But they
Yeah.
don't. We were American. They don't like Americans. That was
Yeah.
something.
So, but yeah, Europe I think
That was funny.
was really nice. I did enjoy that.
Spain was good. I would go back to Spain
So
at any time.
remember, we were talking about where did I dream these things? Because growing up, again, I was the youngest of 9, and nobody told me I couldn't do anything. But at the same time, we didn't go anywhere. Our vacation was to St. Louis, and that was to drive to St. Louis and come back. We didn't go to shows. I mean, we would go to the movies on special occasions or whatever. But to grow up and then to think about traveling to
Mm-hmm.
do stuff, and you know, um, my brother, he would never believe that I'm gonna give him this accolade. My oldest brother, in the beginning would start he started traveling, going. He likes to cruise, and he would go here, go there, and I was like, you know what, that's something I want to do. And now we traveling, and yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to do, because again, you can't imagine yourself doing something you've never done before if you never try to do something different. That's just like I used to say about people who lived on the south side. They could never imagine ever living on the north side, because the north side is always where the white people live. The black people lived on the south side. So you thought you were doing something when you had this big house on the south side. Well, it still didn't compare to the houses that were on the north side.
Mm-hmm.
But when we grew up and then you were able to cross the track, of course, nobody is trying to say you better than the other one or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But the mere fact that our mindset never took us to, we could go to the north side. That is what I sit down and I look at today. I always want to be that one that can cross barriers somewhere. And so therefore, that's why it bothered me when I got to Paris.
And we just kept saying, "Be prepared, be ready." They're rude, and she was like, "They're not gonna be rude." And then that one receptionist, that's a whole nother story for another day. That would be. We have to do it live with that. We
Oh
have to
my
get the whole
God.
Europe trip back together and
Oh my
do
God.
it live, just random intro podcast or something. That would just be funny.
Yeah.
That was the
wasn't
time.
funny.
It's funny now, but it was
wasn't
not
funny.
funny then. I
It
thought there
wasn't
was going to
funny.
be a fight in
Did
Paris.
Courtney go with us?
Yeah,
No.
but she wasn't involved in that because she was just up on the bed with her portable fan, trying to stay cool because of the temperature. Ooh,
Yeah. I couldn't.
Because then we went to go
now I do.
sightsee.
I do
So we
remember
did
that.
go see the Eiffel Tower, and what
And
else
you
did we
couldn't
see?
tell me nothing. I was there.
What
I
else did
was
we
there.
do in Paris? We went to the
That was
Eiffel Tower.
it. We rode those scooters. Remember, that was the
That
very
was
first
after
time.
that was after the
Yeah,
shower. I felt
that was the
better. Yeah.
very first time I had been on a scooter. So y'all, I'm talking about 60 years old trying to do some stuff. But that was fun. It was also scary because they were trying to have us to go in and out, and I was like, I'm trying to just barely stand up on this thing. So we also rode bikes, and this age I'm not gonna tell you
I
a
was gonna
story.
say that's where she fell.
I didn't tell you a story. He did.
That's where she fell.
And what else did we do in Paris? Yeah, yeah, just a lot. Just
That
always doing
nasty
something.
bland food.
Shoes, y'all. But the one thing I'm gonna tell you now,
That croissant.
don't get stuck on that croissant.
Those croissants were good. That lot of bread was
Oh my God, don't get stuck on that croissant. I promise you, that's when I lost my mind.
good.
And I never did recover. 2 years later, I'm still trying to get it off. But yeah, traveling. I think that's what we went to. Traveling, I do like it. And just to do something different with your family, to venture out and go places that you've never gone before. What's that? Star Trek. What's that other
I think
thing?
it's Star Trek.
Is it Star Trek?
My dad would know.
It's one of them.
That wasn't my thing.
Wasn't my thing either. But anyway, so yeah.
Well, one day I'll be able to pay for a trip for you.
And I'm
Y'all
gonna
keep buying tickets to these shows. I'm gonna be able to
buy your ticket.
and no, there's no show coming up. You don't have to worry about it.
I'm gonna keep sewing into him.
But there'll be one in August at some point.
Oh, okay. What are we doing in August? I know I'll be there.
I can't tell the people yet
Oh,
because it's still under the works.
He hasn't told me yet either, so I don't know. But I'll be there.
It's still a work in progress, but
I'll
you
be
guys
there.
hopefully will have a great time. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for being the first guest.
All right.
Had to either, depending on your schedule, had to either start with you or end with you, so that you either close us out or you start us off. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So all month long, we'll have different women. I can't give you the order because I don't know the order. I have everybody confirmed, but we're still working on the details and everything. But then in April, when we come back and we resume the regular podcast, if you will, because it's still regular, we'll be talking about actually producing things. So it's springtime, so start thinking about like the garden metaphors or whatever. So shout out to Jasmine because we'll be bringing back some of her stuff. But she won't be performing because maybe she will. I can ask her.
She'll be performing.
It's a podcast. She doesn't like podcasts.
Oh, okay. Well,
she's not a. I shouldn't say that. It's scratched that from the record. She's not a long form content person. Okay. That's what she is. She likes short and she loves books. So if it's a book, yeah. So, but that's it. But thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Love you.
See y'all the next time.
Peace.